Namaskaram. Hello and welcome, hardworking individuals. After the Dandi March, Gandhiji was arrested and put behind the bars. At that very time, there were Britishers forced to release Gandhi and do a Gandhi-Irwin Pact. But you know what? Gandhi-Irwin Pact is also very important and specific. If you are looking for the question that was there any role of Gandhi in stopping the hanging of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev, did Gandhi try to stop that or he did not? What is the answer to that question that we will see today, along with the three roundtable conferences, the Communal Award, the Poona Pact and the Cripps Mission, and India's role in the Second World War without the consent of its prominent leader and the parties like Indian National Congress. So what it is all about, that we are going to see in today's class. It's going to be very important if you are preparing for any examination, and also if you have not seen the previous classes yet, we have already completed sort of just 2 or 3 classes left, the spectrum, complete spectrum modern history. So you should go and watch out that playlist. For that you should subscribe, and also if you want the PDF of this classes for free, guys, you can join our Telegram channel, and also you can call on the numbers given below here, and you can ask any question to us regarding your preparation for free. So let's get started. And the Karachi Congress session of 1931, this is just after Gandhiji was arrested, and we have also had the first roundtable conference. There were 3 roundtable conferences that we will be seeing, but this is after the first roundtable conference. So on 29th March 1931, the purpose was to endorse the Gandhi-Irwin Pact that happened, and the backdrop was execution of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev in 23rd March 1931, and the protest black flag demonstrations by Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha against Gandhi at that time. And why? Because it was believed that Gandhi would have been able to stop the hanging of these 3 individuals, but Gandhi did not adhere to it. What is the fact related to it? Well, it's different according to different perceptions, but let's see the main decisions of the Karachi Congress session. It was the endorsement of Delhi, that's Gandhi-Irwin Pact, reaffirmation of Purna Swaraj, that is the complete independence, tribute to martyrs admired by their bravery, disapproved of violence, and 2 key resolutions were taken up in this Karachi Congress session that you should know about: fundamental rights as well as the national economic program. Fundamental rights like right to assemble, universal adult franchise, equality before law, and so forth. And national economic programs like the rent and revenue reduction for peasants, relief from debt and better working conditions were adopted as main decision of this Congress session. After this, we see that there was this roundtable conferences that will start. So the Viceroy of India, Lord Irwin at that time, and the British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald agreed to convene a roundtable conference. Why? Just to discuss the Simon Commission's recommendations and how it were adequate or inadequate in this scenario. The first roundtable conference, it was in London. Official opening was from November 12, 1930 by King George V, and the chairman was obviously the Prime Minister of Britain, Ramsay MacDonald. Significance, if you see, first conference between British and Indians as equals. So Indian National Congress and many prominent business leaders boycotted it due to ongoing civil disobedience movement. Who were the participants? We see there were the princely states. These are the princely states about whom you should know. There was the Muslim League also, represented by the people like Jinnah, Aga Khan, Maulana Muhammad Ali, and so on and so forth. There was Hindu Mahasabha, there were the Sikhs also representing there. There were the Parsis, there were the women represented by Begum Jahan Ara Sahnawaz, there was Radha Bai. There were the liberals like J.N. Basu, Tej Bahadur Sapru. There was the depressed class represented by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and the Justice Party represented by Mulidhar Bhaskar Rao V, and also the labor representatives in N.M. Joshi and B. Siva Rao. What was the outcome of the result of it? No substantial achievement. A general agreement was there, and India to develop into a federation, safeguard to remain with British control, and provincial subjects to be transferred. Basically, nothing was decided. Now, the second round table conference following the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, that was in 1931. I said you about the Gandhi-Irwin Pact that took place. So basically, the Gandhi-Irwin Pact was there to convince Gandhi and Indian National Congress to join the Round Table Conference, because the Indian National Congress was the biggest party in India at that time. If they are not attending, without their attendance, how come they come to a conclusion for India's constitution? So that is why it was agreed that Gandhi will be released from the jail, and Gandhi and Indian National Congress will participate in the second Round Table Conference, which was going to be held in September 7 to December 1, 1931. There were other Indian participants also, like A. Rangaswamy Iyengar and Madan Mohan Malviya, and this conference took place under changed circumstances. Lord Willingdon replaced Lord Irwin as Viceroy there, and Britain's Labour government had fallen. A national government led by Ramsay MacDonald took power at that time, and British Conservatives led by Winston Churchill opposed treating Congress as an equal partner. This is something that you should remember. Now, the representation at the conference, if you see, over 80 delegates attended. Representation princes, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, all and so forth. There were noble participants like Gandhi, sole representative of Congress. There were B.R. Ambedkar from the depressed classes, Aga Khan Fi, Jinnah Muhammad Iqbal from Muslims, G.D. Birla, Purushottam Das from the industries, and Sarojini Naidu and Begum Jahan Ara Shahnawaz was the women's. Major issues and the debates that were there. Gandhi's stance was that he demanded the responsible government at the center and in provinces, asserted that Congress represented all Indians and rejected separate electorates for Muslims, for Dalits as well as for the minorities. The opposition, if you see, was minority groups like Muslim depressed classes demanded separate electorates and formed a minorities pact opposing Gandhi's view, and princes were hesitant about joining a federation. What was the result? The conference deadlocked over the minority and communal representative issues, and Gandhi returned to India on December 28, 1931, disappointed as India's demand for self-government was not accepted. Now, there will be this third roundtable conference, which was held in London from November 17 to December 24, and Indian National Congress and Gandhi boycotted the conference. In the first, remember, they did not Gandhi did not come to here because there was this civil disobedience movement going, and second, he did attend, and third, he boycotted it. Most major Indian leaders ignored it, leading to minimal participation, but there were some who represented the Indian states, and other Indian representatives including B.R. Ambedkar, Muhammad Iqbal and so on and so forth were part of it. Now, what was the proceedings and the outcomes? With Congress being absent, the discussion lacked a national mandate. No major decision or progress were achieved. The recommendation of the third roundtable conference were later compiled into a white paper, and that resulted in the Government of India Act 1935, which became a law by July 1935. Now, there was this Communal Award and Poona Pact. What was this Communal Award? That came in August 16, 1932 after it was something which was decided after the second roundtable conference. It was announced by British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald, basis recommendation of the Indian Franchisee Committee, that is the Lothian Committee. So it was announced after the failure of second roundtable conference to reach agreement on minority representation intended to settle the issue of political representation of minorities in India. It was seen by Indian nationalists as the part of British divide and rule policy. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he earlier demanded the separate electorates for the depressed classes, and in his testimony before the Simon Commission, and Gandhi opposed this idea, and he believed it would divide Hindu society. After no consensus was reached, MacDonald announced the Communal Award as a solution. What were the main provisions of it? The separate electorates were granted to the Muslims, Europeans, Sikhs, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians, depressed classes, and Marathas in Bombay. Duration: separate electorates for the depressed classes to continue for 20 years. There were the provincial legislature seats distributed on communal basis. Total seats, number of provincial legislature seats were doubled, and weightage were granted to Muslims where they were in minority. Women's representation, also 3% of the seats reserved for women, except in the northwest frontier provinces. Depressed classes declared a minority community, given a double vote on their own electorate and one in the general electorate. Special representations were there for the reserved seats for the laborers, landlords, traders and industrialists, and also Bombay province 7 seats were reserved for the Marathas. What was the reaction and significance? Obviously, Congress and Gandhi opposed this, and this attempt further divided the Indian society. Ambedkar initially supported it, viewing it as a political empowerment for the depressed classes. The controversy eventually led to the Poona Pact 1932 between Gandhi and Ambedkar, where there was this provision taken away. So actually what happened? Gandhiji in jail said that now I am going to do a fast unto death. He was in Yerwada jail at Poona on September 20, 1932. Now to resolve the crisis, there was a pressure on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and so on and so forth. There was this negotiation resulting in the compromise that was known as the Poona Pact. So Mahatma Gandhi on behalf of the Congress and caste Hindus, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on part of depressed classes, and it was mediated by leaders such as Madan Mohan Malviya and also Palwankar Balu. And at the last, B.R. Ambedkar had to succumb to what Gandhi's demand was. The key provisions of the Poona Pact, if we see, separate elections for depressed classes were abolished. Instead, reserved seats were provided for depressed classes within the general Hindu electorate. Okay, and the number of reserved seats increased compared to the Communal award. Now they are having 140 seats, 48 seats in provincial legislature instead of 78, and 18% representation in the central legislature. There were also efforts to remove social disabilities, untouchability and discrimination to undertaken by the Hindu community. Then the Government of India Act 1935, the third roundtable conference, was held without Congress participation. Its discussion eventually led to the Government of India Act 1935. What was it? All India Federation proposed a federation including all British Indian provinces, Chief Commissioners provinces and Indian princely states. Condition for the formation was seated allotted 52 seats. The states were allotted in the Council of States and had to agree to join, and this states must cover 50% of the total population of all Indian states. There was this federal structure also where they are the Governor General, head of the system, held vast powers, and the subjects were divided into reserved and the transferred there, and the bicameral legislature had the Council of States and the federal assemblies. These are some of the technicalities that you should know about, and for this, if you want the PDF of these classes for free, you can get it from our official Shikara Academy's Telegram channel. Next we come to the August offer. What was the August offer? Now there was this World War II which started at this time, and the Britishers wanted the help of Indians, and they wanted Indians to support Britishers in the Second World War. And for that they will give the August offer, but will come after this. So main provisions of the August offer, they are saying will give you dominion status, India to get dominion status in the future. Expanded executive council, majority of members to be Indians from major political parties. Constituent assembly to be set up after the war to frame India's constitution, and minority consent, no constitution to be adopted without minority approval. Now this Viceroy Linlithgow announced the August offer on August 8, 1940. Now the Congress and Gandhiji won't agree to this, and they will start individual satyagraha. Okay, the British government refused constitutional reforms until Congress Muslim League agreement. The civil liberties like freedom of speech, press and assemblies were curbed. Congress again requested Gandhi to lead the movement. Gandhi initiated a limited satyagraha, not a mass movement. Selected individuals in each locality would participate. What was the objectives? To show that Congress patience is not their weakness, to express opposition to India's forced participation in World War II, to assert freedom of speech through an anti-war declaration, to give the British a final chance of peaceful settlement. The course of movement, if you see, Vinoba Bhave was the first satyagrahi, Jawaharlal Nehru was the second, and by May 1941 over 25,000 people were arrested. And after this comes the Cripps Mission. In March 1942, Britain sent Stafford Cripps to India to secure India's support for the ongoing World War II. Cripps, a left-wing Labour leader and member of British War Cabinet, he sympathized with India's national movement. And why Cripps Mission was sent? Because Japan's rapid advances in Southeast Asia made an invasion to India appear imminent. Indian support for the British war effort became very crucial. The allies USA, USSR, China pressured Britain to secure India's cooperation, and Indian nationalists agreed to support the allies only if substantial power was transferred immediately and complete independence was granted after the war. So main proposals that we see: Indian unions with dominion status to be established, free to decide relations with the Commonwealth, and the Constituent Assembly to be convened after the war. The members partly elected by the provincial assemblies and partly nominated by the princes, and the British acceptance of the new constitution subject to the provinces unwilling to join the union could form a separate constitution, and the constitution making body and British government to negotiate a treaty safeguarding racial and religious minorities. Defense of India to remain under British control, Governor General's power to remain intact. What do you think? Will Indians agree to it? No, Indians did not agree to it, because it offered dominion status instead of complete independence. Gandhiji went on to say that it was a post-dated check, something that was now outdated. The princely states represented by nominees, not elected representatives. Right of provinces to secede contradicted the principle of national unity. Governor General supremacy maintained, not reduced to a ceremonial head. And negotiators Nehru and Maulana Azad were there. And Muslim League also had objections, like opposed the idea of the single Indian Union, criticized the Constituent Assembly structure and secession procedure, also felt the proposal denied Muslims self-determination and the possibility of Pakistan. Overall proposal satisfied neither Congress nor Muslim League and were seen as propaganda for the US and China. With that, we have come to see some of the questions, and if you have already not subscribed us, please subscribe so that you'll be getting the most important part of your subjects covered in our channel, and also whether it's related to the current affairs, whether it's related to the history or the polity, geography, or any other part. Okay, so consider the following statement regarding the roundtable conferences. The Indian National Congress participated in the first and second but not in third. Yes, the Communist Party of India was officially represented in all three conferences, not officially represented, and Communal award was announced after the second RTC. So 1 and 3 looks to be correct. You can pause the video and see the explanation. Separate electorates for Muslims, Sikhs, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians, depressed classes. Yes, that was the Communal award. Reserved seats for women in provincial legislature. Okay, and depressed classes allowed a double vote on their own electorate. Okay, this is something that we have seen. So what is the correct answer? All 3 points are correct. Now, let's see the next. Consider the following statement regarding the Government of India Act 1935. The archy at the provincial level was abolished. Okay. A federation including princely states was successfully formed. No, it was not there. The Government General retained residuary powers and control over defense. Yes, it looks like that 1 and 3 is correct. Now, next regarding the August offer 1940, individual satyagraha 1940-41. August offer promised dominion status after the war. Okay. Congress accepted the August offer and participated in the war effort. No, individual satyagraha aimed to protest India's participation in World War II. Okay, so the Congress did not accept it, rather Congress rejected it. Last question. Proposed dominion status for India and the Constituent Assembly after the war allowed provinces to form separate unions if they did not want to join the Indian Union, and the mission was accepted by both Congress and Muslim League. No, both Congress and Muslim League did not join it, but the 1 and 2 was correct. So guys, with that we have come to the end of it. If you are preparing for UPSC, TSPSC or APPSC, remember every topper has a mentor, and you should too. So join 1-on-1 live mentorship by Deepika ma'am, where you get an opportunity to know your shortcomings, to know what to not read, to know how to prepare to get the proper plan for it. So if you are interested, call on the numbers given below and subscribe us so that we meet again. Keep working hard. Today or tomorrow you will be successful. Namaskar.